Hi, this is a step-by-step soldering video about Buzzrito. As you can see, I'm using the 3U panel, but it will be exactly the same if you're using the 1U panel. So first, we're gonna do the SMD headers. Take the part. We're not gonna need all the jacks for now. Let's do the headers. So the headers go here. It uses the same techniques as other SMD headers, so you need to put a little bit of solder on one of the pad, hit the pad and put the headers in the right position. It needs to be perpendicular to the panel, so it's really important to have a good position. So if you see when the first time you put with one pad is not perfect, reheat the pad and replace the panel, as we are doing now. So hit the panel. Alright, now check the orientation. As you can see, it's not perfect. Something like that will be better. It's not very good soldering since I can move it easily, so reheat the thing. Okay, this is way better, so now I will put some solder at the opposite side and check the orientation once again. The orientation is good. Not perfect. We slightly reheat for moving slightly this way. Too much solder here. Okay, now it's perfect. So now solder each pad one after the other, one by one. Other side. Once you finish with the SMD headers, check if any of the holes for the jacks have solder on it. Can it be too hard after to put them on? And if you don't have put some solder of the chiny trace you can see on the panel, because they are, if you short them, it will be not functioning normally. It's not a big deal if you have a little bit of solder on the headers like I have, but you need to beware of this and the jack holes. Now let's solder the headers for the power on this board. This is slightly more easy because it's not SMD headers, it's a through hole, so you need to put them like that. Go in the underwear. The idea for doing that is, as we do before, put one pin solder and check the orientation. After doing the opposite pin, if everything is okay, solder the remaining pin. First one. Check the orientation. Especially if you solder like me, you need to check. Not too bad, but slightly in this way, perhaps. Okay. So this looks very nice, so the opposite way. Check once again. Okay, this is perfect. So now, one by one, the other remaining. Once you finish inspecting the solder one by one, verify everything is okay, you have no short. And if one is not perfect and need reflow, don't be afraid to read them. Look perfect. Okay, now we are going to solder all the jacks on the headers, but first you need to put them on the PCB and not solder them, because the idea is once you have all the jacks on the header, putting with the front panel, all the jack in the hole on the headers, in the headers of the front panel. It can be a little tricky and tedious, so take your time. It's important. So for the jacks, as you can see, some jacks share a hole. It's a ground one. So these two share this one, these two this one, these two this one. So let's put them first. Okay, so we have all the jacks. For the headers, there are two main ID. Or you going to put it here, or you going to put here on the headers, not totally full. And you try to put it on a panel. Do whatever you want, but do it slowly. If it's not work, you can try the other way around. So I will try this one first. All right, so now take your time and try to put the panel on. All right, here we are. So check if the panel is front of the jack, if the headers is in a good position. Double check everything. And now put the nuts. It's not an obligation to tighten them all, it's just to have to take the panel and do not let too much gap here and check the header once it's down. As you can see, these nuts can be hard to put on the panel, especially tight them if you don't have the right tool. So use the right things because you can easily scratch the panel, and panel like that have trace on it, so you can damage it. Not too much. Okay, recheck everything. The header is in a good position. All the jacks are okay on the PCB. Now the big soldering. So you need to solder every jack, 4 here with all this pin. The 2 here and the headers you can see here. As you can see, the board have some very small components, so beware to not put solder on them, or you can damage things if you hit them too much, etc. So take your time, try first the easiest one and go for the hardest one after. First I'm gonna do the jack and start by the easy one, the side. With the soldering, iron to it. All right. All right, so the other side. Once you've done off the jack, inspect each solder. If one is not perfect or look like a coil joint, don't be afraid to read them. All right, look really nice. So now the 6 pin we have here, once again, you have some very small things around, so beware when you're putting your soldering iron on your solder. All right, so now inspect what you've done. Once again, if one need to be reheat, don't be afraid to reheat them. I don't really like this one, not perfect like I want, so let's just do this. Okay, this is better. So now you can tighten all the nuts with the tool. Et voilà. So you can already use it, the firmware is already on the board, but if you want to update the firmware or using the web editor for the Buzzrito, you can use the Type-C USB you have here and connect to your computer. It's like Plinky, you just have to drag and drop the files.